Turning spokes in new clothes.
Yeah, I love this because, man, like the tight end position means a lot to me. And I got a special guest today. I don't even need to introduce your name. We know who you are. But I'm going to just start off with this, man. Just off the rip. Growing up, for you, who were some of your favorite football players?
Whoa, favorite football players. When I was younger, my favorite running back was Walter Payton.
Okay.
Walter Payton was my guy. I loved the 85 Bears. I remember the Super Bowl shuffle. I was 5 years old, but I remember that like that was the coolest thing ever, that era. As I got older, as far as tight ends were concerned, obviously my go-to guy was Jay Novacek.
Okay, Cowboy fans,
that was my guy.
Okay.
Then I mean, Steve Young was a favorite of mine. As I got older, obviously when I was in high school, Tony Gonzalez was the man.
Yeah.
So as far as tight ends that I looked up to, those were two of the guys that I loved.
So Todd, I gotta ask you, man, just if I walked up to you and I said, you know what, I don't know anything about the tight end position, but I know this thing called Mount Rushmore, and the presidents, if there were 4 faces for the tight end on a mountaintop, how does that look for you?
Whoa.
I know it's on the spot. Yes.
I mean, so the guy that I came into the NFL with, Shannon Sharp, is on there.
Yes.
I think you got to put Tony Gonzalez on there.
Yes.
And then, I mean, if you're just looking at pure numbers, it's got to be Gronk and Kelsey. And so
Hall of Fame.
That's my guys. Yeah.
I love that, man. So I gotta ask you, man, just seeing how the tight end position has ultimately changed right now, it is a numbers-based thing. Like, when we talk about Jay Novacek, he didn't put up the 1,800 yards or 1,200 yard seasons. He made the plays. But now, tight ends like the Jimmy Graham era, like those guys, it started to become a more like, it's receiving. Can you talk about that and just now how the responsibilities have changed? Because during your time, you had to block, you had to be in the trenches. Now, guys can line up in the slot and do all kind of things.
Yes. I mean, in our era, it was kind of the transition from the late 90s to to about 2010 was that the transition of really the development of the change in the game, the development of the passing game, and the change from the thought process that you've got to be a run pass equally, kind of split that between the two. And so that's what we've seen really, but there's been a lot more innovation in offenses.
Yes.
They treat, short game, quick game, screen passes a lot more like run game nowadays. And so there's a lot more ways that they go about it. And then there's some of the rule changes that have played a factor into that with how they protect the quarterbacks differently, how they protect the receivers, the off the line of scrimmage and down the field as well, making plays.
So obviously, Raven for life or things of that nature. But I got to ask you, man, just Lamar Jackson's unreal, right?
Yes.
Unreal talent. For you just watching it, what has to happen? Because it seems like it's just maybe the luck of draw. Like, worst case scenario always happens. And what for you, how does that feel for them to get to the next step?
In my eyes, there's not many teams that have beat the Ravens.
No.
They beat themselves. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You look at this last game against the Bills, they had 3 turnovers to 0. There's not too often you're going to win that matchup when the turnover ratio is like that. And so I feel like the Ravens more or less beat themselves in that game. Same thing with last year in the playoffs against Kansas City. I mean, they were 1 foot away from going on in that game and potentially getting to a Super Bowl last year. So, like I said, the Ravens have all the right pieces. As long as you have Lamar Jackson, first of all, you're going to have a chance.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of other pieces. I love the addition of Derrick Henry and what he's meant to the run game, what he's meant to, the team in general. He's changed the dynamic of our offense. We've got a lot of great pieces around him. There's always going to be a lot of turnover between seasons, so we'll see what happens. But that's where, our scouting department,
unreal.
What Ozzie Newsome did and what Eric DeCosta's done, taking over for him, has been, they're next level at what they do.
And I want to salute Ozzie Newsome and what they've done, because I went back and just looked at every single first round pick.
Yeah.
They just don't miss. Like, it just seems like, I don't know what y'all do. We need to investigate. As a Cowboy fan, I wish we had that kind of luck of draw. But I got to ask you this, man. Arizona State,
Arizona State. Let's
All
talk
right,
about Arizona State.
So my guys had told me, like, we're from Texas, right? So
Yeah.
we cover a lot of Big 12. And they were just raving about Arizona State. He would tell me, man, this team is really good, man. You need to check them out. Well, they got a running back over there. I had to see it for myself. And I'm impressed with Bowman. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you saw from him?
Well, in Texas, we came to Dallas and Scatterby put on a show in that game. But no, it was impressive because 2 years ago, and even going into this year, nobody knew what we had.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't have tell you what how this season would have ended up. Just looking at the team from the beginning, preseason, spring ball, through to the point where they ended up in the college playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I would tell you is the way they practice, the way Kenny Dillingham go, you know, the way they operated practice, the way they put it together as a team. They brought in, you know, some of these the position coaches have done a phenomenal job. We brought in Hines Ward, my arch rival.
That's unreal. Yeah.
From the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's our receivers coach.
Yes.
And there's not a better guy to teach somebody how to play the position. I mean, you look at Hines, you look at his size, and you look at what he was able to do in the NFL. I mean, he's going to teach guys the importance of blocking from that position.
Yeah.
He's going to teach them how to catch with their hands.
Yeah.
He's going to teach them how to run routes because those are all the things that he had to be phenomenal at, and he was to do what he did in the NFL. So he took a receiving core, and from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, completely changed that receiving core.
Wow.
But Scatterboot 2 years ago, when he first got to spring ball, there was one guy when I went out there that stood out to me, and it was him. And there was one guy I wanted to walk up to after practice and say, "You're the leader. Take the reins and be the guy." And it was him. And like I said, he was impressive. Just it wasn't just his physical skills, his balance, his awareness. It was his mental toughness, his grittiness. Like the guy doesn't go down. He maximized every play. That's what I love to see. I love to see a guy that's going to get every inch.
And he wants to be on every play. I love that.
No, he wanted to be out there.
Yes, I love that. Tipsy. Two more things for me, man. So I always ask, it's like, for you had the fortunate situation of when you looked across the field and every practice, there was a guy that you were kind of going against matchup, arguably the greatest, one of the greatest. Well, you know what? Let's take it back.
There wasn't just a guy. There was a few guys.
There was a few guys. So let me take that back. There was number 52. There was number 2. I mean, you go Saragusa. You go all
55 Suggs. There was Ed Reed. There was Saragusa. There was. I mean, you can go down the list of the guys that we practiced against.
But mainly for you, Ed Reed, right? So like you saw him every day, and
Ray Lewis,
and Ray Lewis. But for you, let's say on Sunday, you looked across the field. Who was the guy that you looked at? You like, this is gonna be one of those days. I see.
Oh wow! I mean. Up front on the line of scrimmage, I knew if James Harrison was over there that you had to pack a lunch.
Yes.
And I mean we tried not to ever single up a tight end on him because not just a single tight end could block him, but not a single offensive lineman could block him. Maybe Jonathan Ogden, but there's only a few guys that ever gave Jonathan Ogden fits. Which I mean I don't know if we can categorize it that way, but he was one of them. And then as far as secondary, I mean, for us, we played the Steelers 2 to 3 times a year. And so it was Troy Polamalu on that side. You know, I mean, those matchups were, I cherished every opportunity to go against those guys because I knew exactly what I was going to get from them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they knew what they were going to get from me and from us.
Damn. Last question, man. Let's rewind time. I head to the stadium, man. Everybody's getting hyped up. You on the field working out. You know they love to play the music, get everybody going. I look at the Jumbotron. I'm hearing the song. I'm like, man, what is this? On the Jumbotron, it says, Todd Heap, bye. The song is named after you. Who's the artist that does the song?
Oh, shoot. No way.
Yeah.
Hold on. You got to tell me. Who's this?
No, I'm asking you. Who does that song?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Hold on. You got to bring that to me. I am not familiar with that.
So, no, what I'm saying is this. Let's say if we go back in time, and you know how now guys are able to express themselves. We hear songs that players
who would be my song?
Who would do your song if it was named after you?
Shoot.
Who's the artist that does the song?
Wow. That's a tough one. I've never really thought about that. But I would say if there was a song for me in the NFL that I would have come out to, it would have been Eminem.
You can't go wrong with Marshall now. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Marshall. Well, Todd, man, congratulations on everything, man. I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart, man. Salute to you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
100 folks, new clothes.